I said that ngContent will allow you to use your alert view in a generic way. I want to make you practice it now so you can see how useful is this. First of all, let's add some logic so the add button really allows you to add new timers to your application. So open AppComponent.ts to create a new property array with init values of each timer. This is public timers property of type array of numbers and init to an empty array. And the constructor, you can init this as this.timer equals an array with some values like 3, 20 or 185 seconds. You also need a method to add new timers to this array. So public submit add timer, and inside this.timer.push of the property this.time, and then this.hide add timer to hidden the add timer alert view. Then from AppComponent.html, what I have to do is to replace all of the timers I have here in the template and create a simple ng-for loop. So I remove the latest two, and here I create an ng-for loop with asterisk ng-for for let timer of timers. Inside init, I use the timer property. So what I'm doing here is to traverse the timers property that is full of numbers and store each of them locally in the timer variable. Then I use that as the init value of each timer, 3 seconds for the first one, 20 for the second, and so on, because this component is repeated for each element of the array, so I will end up with 3 timer components. I will also add a binding to the OK button to add new timers, so here I create an event binding for the click event, and then I call submit add timer. And if I go to the browser, I can see how now I can add new timers to my page. So if I set 600 seconds, then here's my timer starting with 10 minutes, and when I use it, it works exactly the same as any other timer, so it works fine. What I wanted to do is to reuse this alert view from here. Okay, every time our countdown finishes, it emits an event, so why don't we display also an alert in that case? Let's do it. Here in AppComponent.ts, I create a new property to handle when this new alert must be shown. The same way I have this isAdTimerVisible, I create a public isEndTimerAlertVisible of type boolean and init to false. Like with the first alert, you need a couple methods to show or hide the new alert. Public show end timer alert, where I set this isEndTimerAlertVisible to true, and then I create the opposite method just by doing copy paste to hide the end timer alert and then set this value here to false. Okay, everything ready from the side. I open AppComponent.html, duplicate this AppAlertView component by copy pasting here. Instead of isAdTimerVisible, I'm going to use isEndTimerAlertVisible. So this is hidden when the isEndTimerAlertVisible property is false. I'll also change the header to timer ended. I remove the input and the label here, and instead I'm going to create a div with the text your countdown has finished. And regarding buttons, I will only have one, so I remove the first, and with the button I will call the hide and timer alert method. Finally, I need to show this alert when timer ends. So in AppTimer, when the incomplete event is emitted, instead of cancel logging this stuff, what I'll do is to call show end timer alert method. So back to my browser, I can click play on my 3 seconds timer, and it goes down 3, 2, 1, and then whoops, here's my alert. As you can see, we have the same layout as before, following the structure of some header, some message, some footer. However, in this case, the message content is different and we only have one button. Of course, if I create a new timer, I can see the other alert as well. As you can see, ngContent is a really powerful tool that allows you to develop following a dry approach, don't repeat yourself. And this is something that you should really master because you will need this in the future for sure.